Todd's been very upset about, the fact that Josh Allen's the GOAT.
I have no faith in the Kansas City Chiefs, man.
Like, the Raiders celebrate every first down like it's a win, and that's how you know the team's bad. And he's a Bears fan, and I was like, he said that the Bears always celebrate first downs. Travis Kelce is now celebrating first downs. Jalen Hurts can't throw the football to save his life. They need to make the tush push go away. It's a joke.
Are you done?
Dude, it's so bad.
That might be the biggest. That might be the biggest overreaction of all time.
Yo, welcome back to the Can't Teach Taste podcast with your boys Matt Ghanem and Todd Tomlinson. Sorry we missed y'all last week. It's cracking. We got a little bit to talk about. Obviously, you guys want to probably hear how that Raider game went. Obviously, it went as I said it would go, but we could talk about that in a minute. What's good, my man? It's been a while. We had a lot of travel in the last couple of weeks, so we missed y'all.
Yeah, we've been on the road. Haven't been able to put a pod together, but we got 2 weeks worth of material to come at you with. But yeah, man, good to be back on the pod.
Yeah, man. So if you guys remember in the last episode, I guess in all of the last few episodes, Todd's been very upset about, the fact that Josh Allen's the GOAT right now, the best player in the NFL.
So crazy.
And
crazy word.
I got something for you. So Rink ordered me something that he wanted me to preview. Todd doesn't know what I'm about to show him.
Oh, boy.
But we got one other one coming too, but look at this, bro. This is coming soon. Maybe I'll send it to you. You could use it. You can have it. You can hold it. You can look at it. You can feel good about yourself when you wake up and you have it on your bedside. See just a real NFL player, right?
That's gross.
You know what I mean?
That's gross. How do you even know that signature is real?
Certificate.
I mean,
let's go. Let's go. I didn't sign it myself. I didn't sign it myself, bro. It says Josh Allen GOAT 17 on there, but I thought that would be funny. But also, let's go back to that Raiders game. As Todd would say, I should root for my team to win. Yes. I know that they can't win. They're not capable of it. They're a bad organization. Without going through it all, Geno Smith is terrible, right? Although he has had 2 decent games, but the organization can't put it together. I tried to let Todd know. He told me before the game that the Raiders were going to mess around and win. Obviously, they can't. They're not capable. They scored 9 points. I think Geno Smith threw 3 picks. Right? 3? Yeah. It was bad. It was really
3. Bad. Listen, 3, and they were still there at the end before he threw the last pick. So you can say what you want.
Yeah, what tells you is San Diego's not a great – or San Diego. The Chargers aren't a great 3-0 team.
San Diego.
Is the point.
They're good. They're good. Justin Herbert's great. They got a good team. The Raiders, played terrible. So I missed on that one. But, again, Geno was horrific. Yeah, I've seen Geno play plenty of times. I'm a Jet fan, obviously. But he was bad. And somehow they're still in that game at the end of the game. An awesome play by Max Crosby. And some other things went their way. But, yeah. But with that said, man, that, Allegiant, that stadium's fire. This is my first time there. It was sick. If you haven't been there, that stadium is awesome.
The best stadium in the NFL. You can walk to it from the Mandalay Bay. There's no traffic in or out if you're staying there or if you're going to hang out there after the game or before. Any other stadium experience isn't the same. This is way better. Air conditioning in there, bright lights, real grass on the field, which is still crazy. I don't know how they do that. But obviously this would have been a much better reaction series had you heard Todd and I arguing with each other at the game when I kept telling him, right when Max Crosby got the fumble and they were down, I think it was 20-9, but they still had a chance, which is what, Raider hope, or as we're going to learn later, is Jets hope, is that they give you just enough at a certain point in the game where you think, man, if a couple things go their way, they just might win. But they can't. Nothing goes their way. Nothing ever goes their way, and that's just the reality.
That's the mentality. That's the mentality that both franchises need to fix. What we'll get into, but go ahead.
All right, so that's what it was. Raiders were terrible. They were better this past week, even though they lost to Marcus Mariota, who's a better quarterback than everyone the Jets, probably the Giants, and the Raiders have on their roster. Marcus Mariota would win the starting job over all of them, and he busted their ass. But anyways, let's get through week 3 takeaways. We got a lot going on. You have the Chiefs, who maybe some would say are the best 1-2 team in the league. You have the Eagles, who are 3-0. You got the Bucks, who are 3-0. You got the Bengals, who are a gravesite, even though they have a good record. And then obviously maybe the Lions are back. So let's start with the Chiefs, man. What are your thoughts on the 1-2 Kansas City Chiefs?
I have no faith in the Kansas City Chiefs, man. They don't look good. Like, just eye test, they don't look good to me, honestly. You saw Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, right? So you always have a chance, to win. But they just don't look like, the same team. If you do look at some of the top teams, you look at the Ravens, you look at the Bills, even the Lions. I don't think the Chiefs are as good. You have an aging Travis Kelce. Things are falling apart. You see them arguing on the sideline with Andy Reid. The offense doesn't look as explosive. Running game isn't great. They don't have a lot of weapons. I think they kind of went down the whole Tom Brady route at the end of his career where, you have Patrick Mahomes and he should be able to make it work with anybody. But, man, I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't be surprised. The Chiefs aren't winning that division. I don't think they win the division. I just don't, man. I honestly think that the Chargers and the Broncos haven't looked good either, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs finish third in that division, man. So Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes, but I think that run, that magic run that the Chiefs have been on with, getting to Super Bowls and winning, I think that's over. Just from the eye test, to me, they don't look as good as they used to be. So I think that run is done.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree, man. Obviously, the Ravens are probably a better 1-2 team than the Chiefs.
Oh, by far. Not even close to me.
But
I think,
to your point, man, I mean, the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes is doing a lot, right? They've scored 7 more points than the Raiders. They scored the same amount of points as the Patriots. That's not going to get it done. The Patriots are awful. The Raiders are awful. And they have the same offense, essentially, output. Travis Kelce's getting old, to your point, and he's more worried about the Swifties than he is about his team. I mean, he's celebrating every time he catches the ball now. And that's how you know. That's how you know. It's just like I think you were the one that said that bad teams celebrate first downs. Was that you? I can't, or maybe it was Graybill. It was Graybill that said that at the game. Graybill said, like, the Raiders celebrate every first down like it's a win. And that's how you know the team's bad. And he's a Bears fan. And I was like, he said that the Bears always celebrate first downs. Travis Kelce is now celebrating first downs. So now you know what time it is. They need to put some infrastructure around him. Obviously, they have injuries to Worthy and Rice, which, I mean, I don't know if that really matters.
No, it hurts. It hurts. I mean, those are the best. I mean, even though I don't think those guys aren't all pro players, but they're the best offensive players that they have. So it does matter, but I don't think it puts them over the hump in any shape or form at all.
Yeah, the Chiefs kind of stink.
I agree.
Eagles 3-0. They're plus 14 over their opponents, right? So they've outscored their three wins by an average of 4 and change. Jalen Hurts can't throw the football to save his life. They need to make the tush push go away. It's a joke. It's a gravesite. They're offsides. It's false start every time. You can't evaluate it. I mean, like, it's every single thing that's wrong with the NFL right now, outside of what happened last year where they obviously cheated for the Chiefs. I believe that for a sec. There was an agenda it was more about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift and politics and all of that went in. We don't need to get into that, but they did that. That was part of it, right? And if I was the NFL, I would do it too. So I'm not blaming him. But now allowing the Eagles to do this lunacy is crazy. The tush push is horrible. It's only the second worst thing, though, that happened this weekend, which we'll get into the worst one in a second. But, I mean, the tush push is horrible. Like, none of that makes sense. You used to not be able to push the offensive player forward. I know you remember that was a rule when we were growing up. It probably still is a rule. They don't do anything about it. It's a joke. You can't run it 5 times a game or 10 times a game. Anytime, if it's 2nd and 2 or 3rd and 2, no matter where you are on the field, you're going to get a first down every time because you have 2 tries. And it might even get it in the on 4th down. So the Eagles aren't a great team. Although they have great skill players that they're not using as much. They did use A.J. Brown a little bit. I think he had 6 or 7 catches this past weekend, which he was a ghost in the first 2 games. You have obviously one of the best running backs in football. And you have, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, right? You have good tight end. You have, Goddard's playing well. You have like a really good skill set of players. And your defense is playing pretty well too. So they should be better. Maybe they'll figure it out. Maybe they'll improve. But to me, at plus 14, they're not a dominant force.
Not dominant force, but when we talk about good teams, the Eagles, they're finding a way to win, right? And that's what good teams do. So they're finding ways to win. It's not always pretty, but good teams will do that. They'll pull out gritty wins. That was a good win. I mean, they were up against the ropes at home against, pretty high power offense in the Rams, and they came back and won. I'm with you though. I'm off the tush push at this point. It's annoying as hell to me. I get the whole aspect of stop it and anybody can run it. So you have the ability to run it too, and we just run it better than everybody else. But to me, it's never been like a football play. I would just rather see, a standard football play and get that 1 yard you need to get with, a running back, or you need to do a QB sneak. But I'm off the tush push, man. I'm with you on that. I think it's bullshit. I don't know. At this point, it's kind of corny to me. But look, anybody can run it. The Eagles have found a way to run it the most effectively, and they're finding ways to win. Jalen Hurts is finding, ways to win. I don't think he's a great passer, to your point. He kind of got, hot there in the second half, and they do have good skill players. So they're going to be a tough team to beat just because of that. And they do have they have a winning pedigree. They just do. And to your point, they haven't been dominant, but they're finding ways to win. So, it'll be interesting, but, I wouldn't be surprised if, we saw them in the Super Bowl again.
I like the Rams. I was very disappointed that they fumbled that one.
I
like the Rams, man. I wanted to see that bad, and it should have happened. Didn't. Here's an analogy. I don't know if anyone will agree with, but I think this is the only way to explain what the tush push is. Let's just say explain the tush push in NBA terms. It's a coach calling a timeout and telling their best player to jump into the defender and then flop. That's all it is. They're getting 2 free throws. You're making them. That's what it is. It's a flop. They should make it stop happening, just like they should make flop stop happening. To your point, though, everyone can run it, but nobody's built like Jalen Hurts. I mean, the dude's, probably, squatting 1,500 pounds or whatever, right? Obviously, he's driving those legs the way nobody else can. Pause. You know what I mean? But he is, and that's the reality. So, and they're also offsides, or they're false start every time they're lined up in the
that's some bullshit. I agree.
It's bullshit, dude. Yeah. It's trash. And I will liken it to, you don't like Draymond unless he's on your team. So unless you're an Eagles fan, you have to hate this. It's terrible. And Eagles fans might even admit that it's bad. So you got the Bucks, who I don't want to get into this one yet. Let's go to the Niners, right? You got they're 3-0. I mean, they have more injuries than anyone. So they're doing all you can. They only allowed 49 points, which based on what I'm looking at is the second best in the NFL in the NFC behind the Packers. So they're playing good defense. Christian McCaffrey's playing well.
Good organization.
When they get healthy, man, who knows, man? Maybe they, everyone always thinks the Niners are going to do it, but I mean, they're doing all they can. You can't do anything else more than what they're doing. So
finding ways to win, that's what good organizations do. Football is everybody deals with injuries. San Francisco's got hit with them, in a pretty bad way with Brock Purdy being out and Kittle not playing and some other injuries, obviously, right? But they're finding a way, man. I think that, Shanahan has gotten some flack over the years for whatever reason. Hasn't been able to get over the hump and win the Super Bowl, right? But he's a great coach, man. Great offensive mind, great coach. And San Francisco's continuing to win with Mac Jones at that last week, right? So,
dude,
he's fucking terrible.
Here's what I want to see, man. You got Cincinnati. They're 2-1. They've been outscored by 30 points, right? They have a bad defense. Everyone knows that. They've given up, at least the second most points in the third most points in the third or fourth most points in the AFC. They've given up over 90 points, so they're averaging 30 points a game to the defense. You have the best receiving core in the NFL, maybe.
I agree.
Trade for Russell Wilson?
Yes.
Or Jameis Winston, who I wanted to see before they bench Russell Wilson. I would love to see Jameis. In fact, I would take Jameis over Geno right now. I think ceiling's higher, floor's lower, but, it would be fun. How are they not trading for someone unless you're just trying to tank, which maybe they are? But they need to trade for somebody, man. They got to trade for somebody. You got to.
They might.
And tomorrow or right now, not next week, right now.
Yeah. They're saying Joe Burrow's out 3 months, could come back. He's not coming back this year. You can't. But you have a roster that's, offensively that's built to win right now. The defense isn't great. You have a high-powered offense. Obviously Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. You have great offensive players that, again, are built to win now. You don't want to waste the season. I agree. Get a veteran quarterback in there. Jameis, gunslinger. He'll sling it.
Kirk Cousins? Somebody.
Yeah. You get somebody. Get a veteran in there. Jameis will throw 3 interceptions, but he'll throw 4 touchdowns for 350 yards, right? So you take the good with the bad with Jameis. I like that. Or Russ. Obviously, everybody knows at this point when you hear this, the Giants have moved on from Russ as a starter, and Jackson Dart is now the starter. So, the Giants have two players, you can say starting caliber, veteran type of lower level at this point in their career quarterbacks in Jameis and Russ. Trade one of them. You don't need both of them. Get some capital. The Giants at this point are kind of rebuilding as well. You want to build around Jackson Dart, obviously, so it makes sense. But those would be the two names I'd watch for Cincinnati for sure.
Well, and you also have the Falcons who got beat 30-0. They're still going to start Michael Penix Jr. Why wouldn't you trade Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, I agree. And feel bad for my boy Drake London over there.
Penix dying out there, bro.
Isn't it? Maybe it was just a bad game. Maybe he can develop and do better over the course of the season. But Falcons, another team where, you got good offensive players. Bijan Robinson, you got Drake London, Kyle Pitts, never has really gotten it together or reached his potential, but still, a good player. They got players on the offensive side of the ball, and if you put up 0 points, that's brutal.
What would Kyle Pitts look like on a 2014 New England team?
Oh, nasty.
Bro, yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. You might as well trade him if you're not going to throw him the ball.
I agree.
Do something. You got a free Kyle Pitts. I think is the new wave. You know what I mean? Free Kyle Pitts. So we talked about the Bengals. Looks like the Lions are back after their week 1 blunder. They played well 2 weeks in a row, really well 2 weeks in a row. So they're back. They busted up the Ravens, which I thought the Ravens were going to beat them. That would have been my guess.
I thought they were too, but they played great. Yeah.
They're
still a force, man. I think the thing with the Lions is that losing Ben Johnson, they had to kind of figure out the identity, and with the new offensive coordinator and play caller, it took them a while to kind of figure that out. But man, they were clicking on all cylinders, and they looked damn good on Monday night. So I think they're back. They're my Super Bowl pick, to begin the season. I'm gonna stick with them. Going to the Super Bowl, but we'll see. Long way to go, but they look good. They look like
I'm still hoping for Buffalo. They can't stop anyone though. I mean, they've given up so many points. They're going to have a hard time if they can't stop.
But
when it comes to the playoffs,
Buffalo might have, outside of Detroit, depending on what they're going to do, Buffalo might have the most high-powered offense in the NFL. I think Ravens.
I love that you say that because their skill players are trash besides James Cook.
They're not, but they're not trash. They're not trash.
They're bottom half.
Saying trash is
bottom
wild.
half.
They have
receiving core, bottom half.
But they're solid. They're players that fit the scheme, and Josh Allen gets them the ball, and they
have to make plays. Josh Allen throws them the ball. That's why
they got to catch it. They got to run with it. They have solid tight ends, and obviously Josh Allen. Look, I'm not I'm a hater because I'm a Jet fan, but I'm not an idiot. I'm not blind. Even when Tom Brady was in the AFC and I was a Jet fan, I was able to obviously say that Tom Brady is the best quarterback I've ever seen, the best quarterback in the NFL. Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the NFL, right? So, with him and with players that can do stuff in space and, good play calling, they have a high-powered offense. On the flip side, the Lions, Jared Goff isn't a top quarterback. He's solid, but their skill players are so good.
Yeah, they're stacked, man.
So, if you put Goff on the Bills, they're
I would love to see Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakur, and Josh Palmer on the Raiders or the Jets or the Dolphins or something like that. It would be so bad.
No, we'll take. I mean, if you bring Keon Coleman or Sheik, they're the number 2 receiver on our team. I'd gladly take those guys.
Yeah, but they'd be your number 1 if we switched them. They'd be your number 1 though, because
the
Bills would take Garrett Wilson. The Bills would take Garrett Wilson. I'm saying if we
take Garrett Wilson. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
but
it'd be a great number 2. That's the rub.
I'm not a hater. I think that they're solid players. I'm not saying they're superstars, bro, but I think that they're good players.
Yeah. So we got that. One other thing, man. Cam Ward, hoping he would look better. Looks terrible. I mean, everyone's dead there. I mean, Travis Etienne, for Calvin Ridley, or not Travis Etienne. Calvin Ridley. Everyone's a fantasy bust. Calvin Ridley was the 3rd receiver I drafted. I started him once. You can't play him anymore. He's not playable. He's not it. Cam Ward's struggling. I mean, their defense is trash. Their offense is trash. I don't even know what to say.
That's why you don't listen, and that's my point, brother. That's my point, my brother. That's why you don't tank for a player. You got to build a foundation. Good teams don't do that. You put Cam Ward in a situation that he is not built to win in. You don't have a foundation to make Cam Ward successful. You might ruin the guy. I think he's talented, but there's nothing around him. You got to build from the inside out. But to your point, I thought he'd look better. But when I think of Cam Ward, I'm looking at, Calvin Ridley. I mean, I guess at this point he's a good receiver, but I don't think Cam Ward has a lot to work with out there. So it's dark times for Tennessee.
In that division, you could say the inverse. And you got Danny Dimes, who looks like an MVP. They're putting up 31 points a game.
He looks great
on a team that was trash with Anthony Richardson, who I don't hate either. You know what I mean?
But to your point, man, I think Bill Parcells always said, I was listening to an interview, and he would say that they would always look at how players would do when they left their program, right? Or they left their team and went to a different team and see how they did. If they were successful somewhere else, then they had to look internally and be like, where did we failed, obviously, because this player is a good player, didn't work out here. He goes to another team and has success. On the flip side, if a player leaves and has less success somewhere else, then they can obviously look and say, we did a good job there. So the Giants, I mean, damn, bro, like you got Malik Neighbors, you got, pretty good, a solid defense. You would have kept Danny Dimes. Yeah, he's looking really good, but the Giants obviously couldn't develop him, and it goes back to
I don't hate Jackson
the Giants
though, but
I don't hate him either. But
it's going to be trash because the Giants are trash.
But the Giants aren't. The crazy is that the Giants are trash, but they're not a bad organization. Obviously, they've had success over the last call it 15, 20 years. Obviously, a couple Super Bowls under Eli, and they've had success, but recently they've not done a good job. And it goes to show you, man, it wasn't. Danny Dimes looks good. He's in a different situation.
He's crazy. He looks crazy.
He does, and he does look like, if he keeps playing like this, he'll be an MVP candidate, which is crazy. It's still early, but you know what I mean? But he looks really good right now.
I mean, they're averaging 31 points a game.
Yeah.
You're not losing a lot of games, still putting up 31.
No, that's Tyler crazy. Warren is leading, I think, all tight ends in yards as a rookie.
I mean, Pittman
Jonathan
and Downs
Taylor
look great.
Jonathan Taylor's
beast
balling. They've always had, solid offensive line. So, the Colts are a problem.
Yeah.
They're good.
I mean, I wouldn't be upset if the Raiders wouldn't try to get Anthony Richardson.
Why not?
I don't know, man. Do something with him. But
why not?
I'll take anyone over Geno, and I don't hate Geno. Geno just needs a good offensive line. He just needs a good offensive line, which he doesn't have, and he needs good players around him. He's Derek Carr-ish, where like he can be a top 15 quarterback in the right situation. This just isn't it.
Sure.
It never was, and they should know that. Here's something I'm going to throw out. I hope people could throw it in the comments. Tell me what you think. I think the AFC East is probably the worst division in sports by a lot.
In sports?
Yeah,
or the
bro.
NFL. In sports?
Well, maybe, man.
What are you talking about? I have to look. People
the Patriots, Jets, and Dolphins. Patriots, Jets, and Dolphins are the worst collection of the 75% of a division you could find. I gotta look. You're gonna have to look real hard to find someone. You're gonna be giving us like Indian cricket divisions and stuff.
I know.
It's bad.
I'm sure I could find a division in the WNBA.
There's a division in the NBA that's bad, although the divisions in the NBA are different. They're too big.
Yeah, too big.
But it's by far the worst division in football. It's like not even close. It's abundantly, absurdly clear. I would love to see over like the past 3 and the next 3 years, whichever division in the NFC gets to play the AFC East, what it looks like, because you're going to go 3-1 if you're decent every time, maybe 2-2 at a minimum.
Well, you're talking about this year, and then you're already jumping into years.
I'm just saying, they'll give us like we can go to the last 4 years, and I didn't look at this. It just has to be. I mean, it's bad. You got a combined total of 1-8 for the bottom 3 teams. And they lost to the Raiders. The Raiders should be 0-3, but they got to play the Patriots, so they're not.
Sure, but I mean,
you guys get to play the Dolphins this week. Imagine if you lose at the Dolphins. How are you going to feel? You might.
Maybe. Obviously, you might, but obviously not good because I'm a Jet fan. So that's a rhetorical question. I feel like shit.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Jets, man. I was in attendance for this game, which, by the way, no one should go to a game in Tampa. The stadium's open. It's 95 degrees. Humidity's 80 million %. Like, you can't even sit outside that long. It was terrible. Great place, great people, great fans. Minus the Jets fans that were completely delusional. Like, I couldn't even listen to them talk. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad. Like, you should figure that they know they're going to know what's going to happen. But
here we go.
So the Jets, they get blown out in the beginning. Somehow the Bucs don't show up. They make a great comeback, right? If they were a functional team, they might win that game. But we know how it ends. The worst thing that happened the whole weekend, which Todd doesn't agree, which is crazy.
Of course not.
Is I don't even know what your coach's name is because next year he won't be he's not going to be your coach next year.
Yes,
he's not going to be anyone's coach next year. He won't be.
Yes, he will.
This guy, I don't even know what you want to call that dance. Is he crip walking? What's he doing? He runs
crip walk.
The Jets walk. He did 2 different dances in the middle celebrations because they blocked the punt and ran it back. So they're down. You know, they're winning with a minute and a half left. Right? You have Baker. You're at home. You know, some of the folks we were with were like, you know, are they going to lose? And I'm like, no. There's 0% chance they're going to lose. This is the Jets. They're in a great spot. They had a great comeback, but Baker's going to get down the field and kick a field goal. It's not even a question. They won't block this one. You know, although there were like 4 or 5 kicks blocked this week, which was crazy. Especially that one being blocked in that situation to end the game. Dude jumps over someone. Like, I don't know what the dude was even doing trying to block him. He wasn't. It was super athletic play. There's not that many players in the NFL that can actually do that, probably. And that dude's a beast. But anyway, so whatever it is that he did, please insert the clip. You're 0-2. You're not going to win this game, most likely. You know it. And you're doing that on the sideline. What does that tell your team? Have you ever been there before? Certainly not, right? It's incredible, dude. It's literally reminding me of like Kobe's rolling over in his grave when the announcer's like, hey, why aren't you excited? You're up 2-0. And he's like, we got a lot of work left to do. Like, you're 0-2 team celebrating. You might as well be down 50 doing an end zone dance. Like, that was so bad. And you guys might think that, like, I was blowing him up on Sunday, telling him this is the worst thing I've ever seen. I can't believe he's doing this. This is a joke. It's a joke. What a clown.
Are you done?
Dude, it's so bad.
That might be the biggest. That might be the biggest overreaction of all fucking time. God forbid someone show a little bit of emotion. Overreaction, the worst thing you've ever seen. Listen, the Jets come back. An amazing play by Will McDonald, who, to your point's a beast, athletic, amazing play. Aaron Glenn is injecting energy, and he showed emotion. And look, at that point, you need to stop. I'm sure Aaron Glenn felt that they had a great chance to win that game. All I've ever heard over the last 3 years about Robert Saleh, who was the Jets' last coach, is that he was a mannequin and showed no emotion whatsoever on the sideline. People can't have it both ways. A guy showing energy and infection, and it's infectious for the team, and players want that, right? Obviously, it needs to translate to a damn win, right? So hindsight, you look back, but I had no problem with it. No one has.
Because you thought they were going to win and somehow sneak their way into the playoffs. There's no chance.
No, I have no problem with them showing
Tyrod
emotion.
Taylor, bro. Justin Fields, you can't put them together and make a good quarterback.
I want that. I want my coach to do that. And then I want at the end, to, face the media head on and be like, we lost. This is why, whatever. This was on me, right? I think players want that. I think players might look at that and be like, I want to play for a guy like that. Obviously, again, it has to translate to wins. If it doesn't translate to wins, none of this, matters. But the Jets, you got to change a culture, and there's got to be accountability. One thing I love about Aaron Glenn is that, he's emotional both ways. When a player messes up, like he's reaming into him, almost like when, we were in Pop Warner and Coach Rihanna. You don't see that in the NFL. Like Robert Saleh wouldn't do anything. A guy would have a, pre-snap penalty. Robert Saleh would just sit there with a dumb look on his face. The player would walk by. You watch Aaron Glenn, he is ripping into guys, and that's just, who he is, right? So I think it's a gross – God forbid, man, a guy gets excited. It wasn't a crip walk. Anybody from LA knows it wasn't a crip walk. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't a fucking crip walk.
It was something. I don't know what it was. He did two different moves. The craziest
overreaction maybe of all time on this pod is I couldn't disagree more. No one, you watch ESPN, no player, ex-player, anybody had a problem with it. Yeah, it was funny. Yeah, they lose. So, again, the Jets need to change the narrative, right? And if he has the confidence to do that, then he's got to face the music when they end up losing. So as long as he's okay with doing that,
getting hyped, clapping, and then going to collect the defense and talk about how we're going to stop them. Not
he
dancing. Everybody's celebrating, bro. You're celebrating like you just won the AFC Championship game.
No, he did, my brother. Yes. Anytime there's a play, you can watch plenty of coaches. If there's like a block kicked or an interception, coaches are running down the sideline with the player all the time. He did that at the end. He did a little bit dance.
And then run back to the defense.
That was it. You didn't even see what he did. You were in the
cab dancing. Find me someone dancing like that, bro.
Whatever,
what is he doing?
Whatever, bro. Man. We're gonna agree to disagree.
You're 0-3. You got no hope. You got no quarterback.
And you want and just for the record, guys, I get texts from Matt all the time after we lose. He's like, "You should be happy. You're on the right track." We talked about this last pod. That is a loser mentality. If you're trying to create a culture, let me ask you this. This is a question I want. The best teams in the NFL right now, right? I don't know. You look at the Baltimore Ravens, or you look at the Buffalo. Who has ever deployed that strategy of tanking? None of them had done that because you build off of a culture. Like none of those teams ever deployed that strategy to tank to get a quarterback, right? Even look at the 49ers. They're doing it. They made it to the Super Bowl with the last pick, their quarterback, the last pick in the draft. The Eagles are winning with Jalen Hurts, was a second round draft pick. Josh Allen was the fourth quarterback picked in that class. Lamar Jackson was the fifth. You got to create a culture where you infuse winning and wanting to win. And nobody who has an invested interest, who is a fan, who is a player, is looking to tank 3 games into the motherfucking season.
Should you tank it? Should you lose to the Dolphins, or should you beat the Dolphins?
We should beat the Dolphins. You got to change the culture there, man.
But can you with an owner who keeps hiring GMs, who keeps hiring coaches, and the culture is like this? The only hope is that you get a messiah in this, whether it's a first or second round or whatever. But you're more likely to get him if you have a better pick. That's all.
I want to see if to your point, I agree with you. Organizations, if they're historically bad, the owners are fucking it up. I want to see if this regime of a new coach and a new general manager, can get it done. If we lose, you know why? If we lose to the Dolphins, I'm going to come on this damn podcast next week, and you're going to be talking all your shit, and I don't want to hear it. I want the narrative to change.
I don't think they're going to lose to the Dolphins for the record. I don't think they are.
I know.
You might,
I don't know.
know.
Look, they still got a high-powered offense. We want to see a change. I'm sick of the same old Jet stuff. But to your point, it's organizations, man. Like good organizations win. They make the right choices. You need to somehow flip the script and change the narrative. If you're a Jets, you're the Raiders, you're the Cleveland Browns, the Carolina Panthers at this point, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The problem with the football is, bro, is you can't, if you got a top 5 pick in the NBA, to your point, obviously that one player could change your franchise, right?
Correct.
And it still could change your franchise. It's just not very likely. It's not as likely. In basketball, it could turn like that. The problem is the NBA could gift you a number 1 pick, and it could be LeBron James, or it could be Kyrie Irving,
and that's a game.
Or it could be Victor Wembanyama, or it could be freaking Cooper Flag. It could be any of these people. That can't happen in football, but it gives you a lot better of a shot. And I don't know how do we get a punishment system for the owners? If you've been this bad for this long, you should get punished. You shouldn't be allowed to pick. You shouldn't be allowed. And I get it. You own the business. Right, so if you're a business owner, it probably sounds crazy, but this is the NFL's product. Like you're in their system, right? You own the team, and you own the stadium or whatever, but you're still in their system. They should have some way to get you removed, because the Dolphins are always bad, the Jets are always bad, the Raiders are always bad, the Browns are always bad, the Texans almost always bad, the Titans almost always bad, Jaguars they're all almost always bad. The teams that are at the top of the divisions are always at the top of the divisions, and vice versa. The Steelers haven't missed the playoffs in my adult life, pretty much. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I don't disagree at all, man. I'm not a fan of the Johnsons or Woody Johnson, who are the owner of the Jets. I believe owners are obviously the biggest part of this. So I don't disagree. I don't know how you do that, again, because they own the team, but they are in the NFL system. And if you're not running a business well, you're running a failing business. There should be consequences because it's the product of the NFL.
And here's the rub, too. I would imagine the owners are all sort of board members, right, where they go to these league meetings. And if you're the Bills, you're not voting for that. If you're the Patriots, you're not voting for that. The Chargers aren't. The Chiefs aren't. The good teams want it to stay the same way so they can stay good.
Yeah, so I agree.
The NFL needs to just do something hey, Mark Davis, you can still come to the games. You just can't talk to anyone. I don't know what that looks like. But you're not involved, bro. You're out of here, bro. You can't talk to anyone. And also, as a Raiders fan, I can still say this. It's crazy that Tom Brady is allowed to be an owner, but also get insight on the sideline pre-games and then be in the booth. And none of that makes sense. There's something wrong there. I don't know what's happening that's wrong, but something wrong is happening.
They got to figure it out. If I'm a Raider fan, I do like Tom Brady being involved because he's a winner. I don't know to what capacity, right? Just because you're a winner doesn't mean Michael Jordan was a terrible, owner that that whole thing didn't work out. But I think having Tom Brady in your organization can be a benefit if you play it right. I still know how involved he wants to be. I don't know if he's in there trying to call plays and shit or what.
He's the only hope they have. I'm saying from an NFL standpoint, they shouldn't allow it.
Agree. But yeah, like calling games.
He's the only hope they have.
Yeah, I agree. Like the calling games, that's crazy. But yeah, man, look, not to go back on obviously, I think it's all about flipping a script, creating a different culture. Aaron Glenn has a very tough job to try to do that. I guess he's trying to do it the best way he can. Showing emotion is one of those things. I didn't mind it. You hated it. You hate it. But, it's something's got to give here as a Jet fan. I can't take it.
If there was like 10 seconds left in the game or 15 and they didn't have a lot of work left to do, I would have totally been fine with it. And honestly,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong, dude. As a Jet fan, myself, my dad, my brother.
How do Pops feel about that?
We are hyped, but the thing that Pops, we know this all too often. You look at the clock, and we did not feel good about winning the game.
Oh, the Raiders would lose that game 9.9 out of 10 times in that exact situation.
We weren't surprised. We weren't. The problem that we're having now as Jets fans is that our defense, which was historically our strong suit, is now like our weakness. Like our player, like it's just where we look terrible on defense. We're getting carved. We can't stop anybody. So yeah, we didn't. Even though it was great, we came back. It was cool. We showed fight. Jets teams of the old probably would have folded and lost that game by 35. So it's good to see them still fight. There's no moral victories, man. This is sports. We're grown men here. We don't care about coming back and being close. But dude, we've seen this story. We know how the story ends. I can't tell you how many close games we lost last year with Aaron Rodgers. So we didn't feel good about it. Baker Mayfield, look, he's a gritty. He's a good player. So we just had a feeling that, and all they needed was a field goal. If they needed a touchdown, it would have been different.
They needed a touchdown, you might have won. Honestly, yeah, it would have been different.
You just got to get in field goal. You just got to get in field goal range, man. And we're probably still gonna lose this game. Turnover.
Baker didn't play great. He made that one throw to the left side of the field. That was like a 20-yard pass,
it was
right over the top.
Yeah.
I mean that was the game right there. That was the game right there. I think that was to the rookie. By the way, was a beast.
He's great.
Egbuka,
he is. I liked him coming out of Ohio State last year. I kind of wanted the Jets to get him. We did need an offensive lineman. We could have got him. I thought he was good. I was like, oh, maybe we can get him. Maybe trade back and get him late first round. Looking at him now, man, like he should have went top 10. That guy is they found a gem in him, man. He is a beast, and they're gonna need him, man, because it sucks. But you can see like Mike Evans, still a great player, getting older now, just getting injured left and right, man. So it seems like, but they're getting they're getting Godwin back, which will be good. But Evans is just pulling hammies now, but they got their number one in Ibuka, man. He's a problem.
Tampa Bay, whatever their record ends up being because they're going to make the playoffs. Whatever it ends up being, I think it's a team you don't want to play. I don't know why. They're sneaky. You just don't want to play them. It doesn't matter what their seed is. If they sneak in, or if they're the 2 seed, you don't want to play them.
And the Todd Bowles defense, Todd Bowles, they blitz the hell out of you. They confuse you. They run these exotic blitzes. I mean, they create like havoc a lot of times. So you don't want to play that type of defense. And then obviously, with Baker, he's just a tough, gritty guy, man. He's just not a guy you probably want to have to play in the playoffs.
No.
Agreed.
What fantasy surprises do you have, man? I mean, obviously the first few weeks have been odd. You have, obviously, for obvious reasons, since it's Cincinnati, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Chase Brown, the whole thing's bad there. Anything relating to the Titans is bad. Yes. Then you have the Colts, where everyone's, in a spot that you didn't think they'd be in.
Taylor's playing great for me, brother. What I was losing hope and almost cut him, but Caleb Williams, if they figure that out with Ben Johnson, look, might be a fun boy with he might be sweet, a little light in the whatever, but he is. Though he was slinging that, he was slinging that rock, and people say, oh, because he's whatever, the guy paints his nails, he can't be a leader, so on and so forth. If the guy gets in the right situation with Ben Johnson, I guess as a quarterback, you need a leader of men, but he played great, man. He looked awesome, and I think it's going to take a little bit of time. Ben Johnson's such a smart guy, and Caleb Williams is so talented. and people, I guess he has a stigma not being tough for whatever reason, but I get the crying thing at USC or whatever, and people think he's not a leader, but bad, right? But he's talented, man. And if Ben Johnson, gets him in the right situations, you see what he can do. And granted, the Dallas defense is just like
how much do they beat the Raiders by this week?
Joke. Where's the game? I don't know, man. Like the problem with the Raiders that I'm having is they're just not finding ways to get Genty
dude. There's a stat where he has more yards after contact. Like he 101% of his yards have essentially come after contact, which means that he's not like he's getting hit in the backfield like 52% of the time. You know what I mean? Like they're not giving him a chance. Their offensive line's bad. I mean, I feel like the Bears could beat them by more than the Chargers did. They could. Yeah. Trey Tucker had 150 and 3 touchdowns, even though they're getting blown out. But
the Bears got some talent on offense. They really do. Rome Odunze and they got some players. Although Colston Loveland has been a big disappointment.
I cut him already.
I'm close.
I cut him before. I cut him before the week just because
I want to give it a couple weeks.
Yeah, I didn't believe in Caleb Williams, and they won a game they shouldn't have won. So,
and maybe Caleb doesn't turn out to be as good as he looks this week, but I do think Ben Johnson is a great offensive-minded coach, and I do think he's going to put Caleb in a position to be successful. So we'll have to see. But I don't know. He's been up and down.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears put up 30 or if they lose 10-9. But the Raiders aren't putting up 25. That's the reality.
They got to figure it out.
Unless they're getting blown out, then maybe they can score. But they're not going to do it in a tight game because they're going to be super conservative. And Geno Smith's still the only quarterback to throw the ball out of bounds on 4th down. Never seen that before.
Well, I saw it on Russell Wilson. That's probably why he got benched. Did you see the game?
I kept seeing the worst red zone thing, and I didn't look at it.
He threw it at the end of the end zone. So that's why he got benched. But that Geno thing that we were at the game, and we were like, what the hell did he just do? Like he can't.
Well, he broke a tackle in the backfield and rolled out to his right. And he's essentially right in front of us on the sideline, and it's like 3rd or 4th and like 10 or 12. Like throw the ball downfield. What does he do? He starts running back left, breaks another tackle, gets to the other hash on the left side of the field, just throws it out of bounds to he threw it to some dude on the sideline. Like it barely made it. I don't even know if it made it to the stick. Right? It might not even have made it to the marker. You know what I mean? Like it would have been an intentional ground.
It was bad.
Yeah,
it was bad. Raiders fans were losing their mind. Yeah,
I wasn't. Anyone that was in there that didn't know what was going to happen is crazy. I told you what was going to happen right when Max Crosby, essentially broke the snap and literally. I mean, he might as well have taken the damn handoff, right?
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Yeah. They're gonna give. Everyone got excited. Everyone left. What's going to happen now? They're going to they went 3 and out or 4. Maybe that was the 4 and out time. I don't know. But either way, no chance. They stink.
Yeah, Russell Wilson was in the red zone, threw it away like 3 times. 4th down, he throws it out the back of the end zone. It's like,
I'm excited to see Jackson Dart. I don't know why.
Me too.
I don't know why I'm excited for him. I'm not sure, but I am. I'm excited.
He's got something about him, man. He's got swag.
He's got some swag. Moxie. Maybe that's what it is.
He's got some. Yeah, he's got that to him. And he's in New York, man. A big market. I mean, he could be. He could be a star if he figures it out.
He's gonna target Neighbors 15 to 20 times this week.
And he should. Because Neighbors is a top 3 receiver in the league, in my opinion. Neighbors is a problem.
If you have Malik Neighbors, upgrade with Jackson Dart because he doesn't have a choice. Also upgrades Trey Benson because my guy from Pitt, James Conner, got hurt. Man, hate to see it. Amari and Hampton with Najee, hate to see Najee. Achilles, bad. Although freaking Herbert literally hops over him and throws the ball down to your boy Johnston or whatever for 15 yards. Literally hops over him while he's hurt. Homeboy's laying there. He just hops over him.
You got to do what you got to do, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I love Herbert. He's a great player, but that was funny. Now, Amari and Hampton, that saved Amari and Hampton's rookie year because he was headed for. I didn't start him this past week. He was headed for a problem when Najee got hurt. Now he's essentially a bell cow now because you don't have anyone else.
Yep, RB1. He had some issues. He fumbled in that Raider game.
That wasn't his fault, though, dude. Everyone's fumbling that ball because Max Crosby almost took the handoff. You're gonna fumble that.
But as a rookie running back, leash is probably pretty short, especially with somebody like Harbaugh in a situation like that, right? So we were watching it, and he was getting consoled on the sideline, and people were trying to keep his head up, But now I think as a rookie, and this is in sports in general, if you're always looking over your shoulder about, potentially getting taken out of the game, you play tight, you play nervous. But when you're not going to be taken out, I think you play free, and I think you'll see Omari and Hampton play freer and with more confidence, knowing that he doesn't have a short leash.
This is a perfect segue to the NBA because that's Jonathan Kuminga's whole problem is that when he does play, he doesn't know how long or if he's going to play. And so when he comes in, he's a gun, right? And that's, you're not playing how you normally would if you knew that you were going to play 30 minutes a night no matter what. Right? So obviously crazy. Still some trade rumors around there. Someone sent me one last night for Jared Allen. I mean, I guess if he refuses to sign, you got to get something. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Even with picks, you don't want picks because they're worthless. When you have, the aging stars that the Warriors have, hopefully that figures that out. Don't want to make this about the Warriors, but something needs to happen. They said that supposedly Horford, Seth Curry, DeAndre Melton, and there's somebody else that supposedly they're all going to sign with the Warriors once this is decided, which I think is in like the next 2 weeks. They have to do something or else he has to take that $6.9 million 1-year contract, which kills the Warriors, right?
Yeah,
kills the Warriors, kills him because if he gets hurt, I mean, he's not getting that bag. And they offered him $25 million. He wants the player option. They want the team option. Take the 2 years, $50 million team option. You're going to still get paid unless you're awful, which you won't be. But I guess the only big news in the NBA, as you guys saw, our boy FVV, nicest guy, one of the nicest guys I've ever met. That is in his position in life. Great guy. Tears his ACL. In a summer camp, I think overseas for the Rockets. So,
that's a problem. I think it's a problem just because I think he was, when you see Fred VanVleet, I think people look at him and he's kind of like more of a quiet leader, but he's a leader. And I think that people look at him as more of a leader than KD. I think generally KD isn't looked at as a leader, obviously an extreme talent, but he's never been like the leader on a team. I think Fred VanVleet was that with the championship pedigree. And as the point guard of the team, being the leader, it kind of is the glue that holds everything together. I think he was going to be the key, not the best player on the team, but a key to this year. So now it kind of changes things. And now you got, some young guns running the show, and KD's, the OG and the vet. But he's never really been that. He's never really been, a vocal type of leader. And I think Fred VanVleet, you're going to miss that a lot with him. But now you need people, and we talked about this earlier. Thompson, I expect him to take a step, man. He's on the brink of becoming like a star. So I think he's going to take that step. But you need folks like Reed Shepherd, who didn't get any tick last year, looked really good over the summer, in summer league, and it looks like he's gotten better and worked on his game quite a bit. But you're going to need him to take a huge step forward and play big minutes, and maybe even start at this point. I'm not sure what they're going to do. We were talking about that earlier. So, I mean, what do you think? So if you're the Rockets, Fred VanVleet goes out, huge blow. What's the starting lineup? Who you put in the starting five?
That's tough, man. I mean, you do have Josh Okogie, who didn't start a ton, but he started on the Suns. He played some meaningful minutes. You have obviously Reed Shepherd. I mean, you may start him early in the season. I mean, your team's good enough that you could probably win some of these games. I think figure it out, and then maybe some nights you start Steven Adams and you play two bigs, right? But Steven Adams isn't going to play 35 minutes, 30 minutes. You have Eason that could start. I mean, obviously they have Capella, who's older, but I mean, you never know. They're deep, and obviously they have Dorian Finney-Smith. You could slide him into the three, put KD, and KD could bring the ball up. Amon Thompson could bring the ball up. I mean, and Reed Shepherd is athletic and can shoot. So if he can actually translate that into an NBA game, I mean, look, to your point, you need Fred VanVleet's the leader. Somebody's going to have to step up and do that. Reed Shepherd, though, in a regular season, I mean, he could ball maybe. So I don't want to see that ever happen to anyone, specifically Fred VanVleet, but I'm excited to see some Reed Shepherd, right? Because he would have got run on a lot of teams last year, and he was so far away from getting any PT last year. I mean, literally, I went to a couple different Rockets games. I don't think he got off the bench.
No, I'd say once, honestly.
Even in a blowout, I think there was one game where he didn't play. So
he's a talented dude offensively. I think that their worry is probably defensively.
Oh, dude, they had Jeff Green too. I forgot about
Jeff
that.
Green,
Jeff Green. I feel like Jeff Green was in college not long after us. But
that guy's been in the league. That guy's had one hell of a long career. Yeah, Clint Capella. So they're deep. I love Finney Smith on this team because all he has to do is defend wings and knock down threes. I think Jabari Smith is going to have a big year. I think he's going to be even better. So although this hurts, they still have enough talent to still accomplish their ultimate goal, right?
Dude,
so
I don't know if somebody's gonna have to step up. Aaron
Thompson.
Holiday will get some run too. Maybe Eamon Thompson becomes a 20 and 12 guy, and if he does, then maybe you do it. But you stick Fred FEV on. Although the finals are in what? The finals are in May, so October,
June,
November,
right?
December, June. Yeah, you could
June,
come back from an ACL. I don't know if you will. You could come back from an ACL by the time. I don't know if you'll be in game shape and all that. But if they can make it to deep into the playoffs, maybe you see an FVV return. It happened early enough. It didn't happen in month 1 of the season, right? Which would be another month or a month and a half,
right?
By the time, because the season starts in essentially a month from now. So sad to see it. Hate to see it, especially as a team that could have been dynamic and special still may be.
It may be.
To me, a top 3 favorite in the NBA to win. I don't know about now, but before, yes.
Agreed.
KD, to your point, not a leader, elite bucket getter.
Elite.
He's who I want shooting. I want him taking every shot at the end of the game, not even a close. There's not a bad shot. If he gets into the mid-range and he's not forced to throw away the ball and pass, nobody can guard him. So he's pulling up. He's getting you that bucket. He's a top 3 mid-range shooter with Book and maybe CP or whatever.
Amazing.
And FVV isn't CP3, but FVV would have played that role,
Yeah, for sure. And I think what the Rockets were missing last year was KD, in that, you need a bucket, main guy. It wasn't Jalen Green, right? And they were young. But there's no doubt this Fred VanVleet injury hurts quite a bit for the Rockets. I still think you have to look at
if CP was still a free agent. He signed $3.6 million. Obviously, the rumor from those that know him was that he wanted to play in a place where he played, which was either going to be the Clippers or the Suns for his last season.
Yep.
But man, imagine if you could plug CP in right now.
Yeah, you need some veteran leadership at the point guard position. So it'll be interesting, man, to see if they gel throughout the year. Again, I still think, OKC is the clear favorite coming out the West. All those boys are going to be even better than they were last year. I feel like, and I've always been kind of a believer that after you win a championship, it's almost like a monkey's off your back. So now you're playing even more free. You're still hungry to get it, but you're playing even more free and maybe less tense. And I think you're going to see, Williams is going to be better. I think SGA is going to have another monster year. Chet should be better. They got some other guys coming in. It's going to be, I think they're.
You're spot on, dude. Because if the Warriors would have lost the first championship, which they wouldn't have won if everyone was healthy, they're not going 73-9.
No, they play free.
They're not.
I got my ring already. You know what I mean? Like
you might as well. Let me just go. Yeah, you're not. There's no stress. OKC is obviously still, probably the favorite, and their window's smaller than it looks like it is because eventually they're gonna have to move on from some players. Right now they're so deep. They're so deep. They have another couple of years, man. So this was a team though. This was a team. Dallas is a team. Denver's a team. That if healthy, maybe. So
I got to see. I selfishly, I know you're the Warrior fan, but I got a lot of love for Steph. I really want to see.
Dude, they got to
make a play to get Steph. Steph still, in my estimation, by far the funnest player to watch in the league. Still just an extreme talent. But let's be honest, whether it's him, KD, obviously LeBron, tail end of their careers, and you don't want Steph still so elite. You don't want to waste years, being a 7 seed or, having a tough time. So I'd love to see the Warriors do something. It'll be interesting to see what they can do. But
they get something decent for if they get a startable player for Kuminga, which they should, and then you add a Horford and you add a Melton, who was actually, he was starting. He plays over Podziemski at the beginning of last season, and then you add a Seth Curry, which you add a sniper off the bench. That's huge. He shot better from 3 in the last couple of years than Steph did from a percentage standpoint. Yeah. So that's huge if you can turn Kuminga into something. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm excited.
Can't wait, man.
Nervous because we only have a couple weeks to figure out what they're gonna do.
I know. But this is the best time of year, man. You got football, getting ramped up. Basketball, training camps coming up.
Also, the U's back. Florida State's back. It's like 1990s again, bro.
Yeah, I love that. College football has been great. great game this weekend coming up, Oregon versus Penn State. To your point, the U's back, Florida State. College football is better when the Florida teams are good. It just just is. You know what I'm saying?
I saw a post that said the best white rapper of all time, and it was Greg Olson.
Greg Olson, that's
Greg Olson, dude.
Yo,
G-Reg.
play the clip. Play the clip. Play the clip.
Play that 7th Floor Crew, at least part of it that we can play.
University of Miami is apologizing for a profane, sexually explicit rap song made by several football players.
The 7th Floor Crew.
Only know that she was getting fucked on the 7th floor. What's your name?
G-Reg.
Because none of them would have been in the NFL if they did that now. If they were sophomores in high school now and in Miami. But anyways, love catching up with you on the NFL. Still
Always.
think, I like to see, to your point, I do like to see the emotion, but I just think it was a little ill-timed, especially, obviously, if they win the game, then, my take's terrible, but hopefully maybe they got something out of that. I don't know. Maybe they saw something from him.
This week will be telling. If they come out and lose this week, then I'll be with you and we can both shit on Aaron Glenn together.
Yeah, man. All right, well, take it easy, y'all. We'll see y'all soon. What can't you do?
Can't teach taste, my brother.
Can't teach taste. Peace.
Peace.